Fox is an old friend. She was part of the raw food movement, and she's been really on the human potential scene, and she's covered it all with her podcasts, her radio, her just way of living, and I think it's really important she starts us off. Let's welcome Chireya Fox. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Ellen. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Should we start with a little laughter yoga? Ha 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 ha. Come on, give it a try. Ha 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 ha. Yes, those vibrations of joy and lightness are what we want to cultivate when we start leveraging our vibrational awareness so we can get into vibrational alignment. And I'm just going to pull up my little slideshow here. And where is that? We're going to quit this. And we're going to go here. Play. Vibrational alignment. What is that? What is vibrational alignment? It has to do with getting into that juicy, yummy state of being that is truly our natural state, our natural way of being, the innate beauty, innocence, love, joy, peace, harmony of that divinity within us, that eternity within us, that natural being. Yes, would you agree? Yeah. And so as we allow ourselves to be in that state, more and more of the good stuff comes our way. And so today we're going to talk about some of the finer details of how did we get so vibrationally unaligned in order to create such chaos in certain areas of life, and then how do we get back to where we're the masters of reality, creating those new realities that Alan and others have been championing for years. And so my job description is orator and scribe for the lineages of light. So source consciousness, divine mother, divine father, the star elders, and other beings will pulse me with information and energy and states of being, including experiences since I was young, and now I'm at a place where I'm sharing those codes with the world, the codes of union. And that's my job. My more illustrious role, however, is as an vibrational wedgie extraction. So somehow we've managed to get this really unusual vibrational wedgie, and it's like, oh, this thing is uncomfortable, man. I gotta get that thing straight. And so that's what we're gonna try to do today together, is spend a little time extracting the vibrational wedgie that has gotten between us and source consciousness. That's gotten between us and the truth of us. And what we're going to do is we are going to awaken to the truth of us more and more. How many people feel that you have been awakening to the truth of you in recent years? How many feel you've been doing it for years and years on this planet? And how many feel like, oh my God, what is this multidimensional universe? What the heck is going on? This is new. Anybody? Any newbies here? Like, oh, whoa, there's more to me than I thought. So yes, welcome. Welcome to the multidimensional reality that is our true nature. Yes, more and more we're going to see so many people waking up to these realities, and that's going to be very interesting because they sort of need a catcher's mitt. And my guess is that's us. That's you. More and more as you awaken, as you activate, you're going to be one of those catcher's mitts that helps those who are waking up out of the matrix to really orient to who they really are, what's really happening on the planet, and where do we go from here to course correct and create an amazing new reality together. All right, so what does vibrational alignment allow us to do? So it allows us to do many things. And some of the top ones that come to mind are we get to jump timelines. Anyone familiar with the idea of timeline jumping? Yeah, so we have multiple possible streams, and, we could be going south. Whoa, we're going over here unless we do something, and they go, wait, I want to jump over here. So we're kind of like, this one's going that way, and we're like, okay, how can we finesse our being and do the thing that it takes to get over to this other timeline, this other possible, probable, crystallized future? We'll get into that a little more too. We're going to co-create these new realities. We're creating it for our own lives personally, and we're also creating it collectively. We already are doing that, right? But now we're going to learn how to do it intentionally, on purpose, and with a lot of humility, love, and compassion for all that we've been through. That it was sort of the opposite of who we really are and how we really work. It allows us to heal trauma. As we raise our vibration, those old troubles, physical, mentally, emotional, spiritual, on all levels, financial, relational, those begin to self-correct as well as we align to the thought forms, beliefs, ideas, and energetics that are more harmonious to us and that are what we really desire, both individually and collectively. And this also helps us align with what we might call our true divine purpose, our true essence. The innate within you has a pattern and a blueprint. And that pattern and that blueprint is who you really are, what you really came here to do. It has codes within you. And those codes are not static. It's not like, well, I'm going to be a plumber, It's like, it could translate to that, but you're going to be like the most badass plumber in the universe, right? You're going to be like, I'm a plumber. I'm just going to take care of all the toilets in the world. I'm going to love it. And I'm going to love everybody up, and we're going to have a great time, right? Maybe that is your purpose. It's fine. Whatever it is, when we bring those original codes to it, it uplifts it, it up-levels it, it makes everything juicier, and really it's eternally creative. Your codes, your divine blueprint, is eternally creative set of codes that you can access and leverage and pivot with, even based on the circumstance in which you find yourself, based on the planet in which you find yourself as an incarnate being. So this vibrational alignment helps us align with those codes. And it also helps us to clear patterns, old patterns that have come from old beliefs and old thoughts and old vibrations that no longer serve us. So there's a lot of reasons why we want to really integrate this vibrational alignment. And the most important one, of course, is that we're going to awaken to the truth of us. We're going to awaken more and more to the truth of you. Who are you? Who are you really? You are divine. You are an eternal, effulgent essence of Source itself. You're a co-creator with life itself. This is you. Can you breathe that in? How many people think that's completely nuts? Oh, good. I'm in the right room. How many people have totally 100% embraced that reality already? Yeah, and how many are like, well, I kind of get the idea, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense based on my reality at the moment. But nevertheless, we'll get to why that is, and we'll help course correct that. Yes, you are endowed with all the attributes of Source as an extension of the prime creator in form, by whatever name you call that original ineffable suchness, that original source from which we all sprang, from which even concepts of duality and polarity and unity sprang, the primordial oneness that was before all manifest form. That's us. That's our true nature. And therefore, you have all the attributes that source has. The source is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. That's your true nature. That's your essence. And then that essence is filtering in through your body-mind-spirit complex based on whatever conditioning you have in here to outpicture your reality by your steering with your thoughts, with your imagine, with your feelings, creating holograms in your mind that coalesce reality particles into manifestation. Isn't that interesting? The more we dwell on something, the more we think about it, the more we intentionally or even unintentionally, spend time contemplating things, the more likely it is that that is going to end up manifesting in our reality. And it's not partial. It's not partial, but these are all vibrations, which is why we want to align our vibrations in order to create the most desired, the most harmonious, the most loving, the most prosperous, the most joyful, the most ecologically sustainable, the most socially responsible, the most blessed realities that we could possibly create together. It's kind of like when the vibration matches, there you are. How many people saw Harry Potter and remember flue powder? So, you decide where you want to go, you throw a bunch of flue powder in the fireplace, and then you're like, whoop, okay, I'm there. So that flue powder is kind of a symbol of your ability to steer and navigate your ship where you want it to go. It's your thought. One of my early teachers in my 20s was telling me the spaceships that they fly, the brothers and sisters of light, they steer it with their thoughts. How about that? What does that even mean? They're organic. The technology's organic. It's not crazy, wonky, pieced together stuff that's, you have to use fuel and stuff like that. It's like, wow, that's weird, right? So that's how we do our lives. This being, this body, mind, spirit complex that you have is your spaceship. And we're steering the spaceship of our lives with our thoughts, with our feelings, with our imagination, with our vibrations. This has a lot of implications, which we're going to be getting into more and more. A lot of food for thought. It's very, very important. It's primary. It's foundational. Yes, you're a source streaming human angel. You're navigating the ship of your lives. So the guides show me this concept of the source streaming human angel. You're standing in your sphere as a being, and before you, you see all the possible timelines that you could choose from. And behind you, you have access to everything that has come before. All the different timelines, all the experiences, all your lineages, all the wisdom. Typically, we're not an amnesiac species as source streaming human angels, but there's been a little situation here on the planet. And somehow we've managed to forget all of this stuff and typically not have access to it unless we get multidimensionally turned on. A lot of people have near-death experiences or other. Sometimes they just like, I'm sorry, we're going to have to do this because you need to be plugged in. And then they get access to more of the original data from having gone to the other side and coming back, things like that. And others of us are more lucky. We sort of got woken up in a different, more gentle way. And there's more to come. Believe me, there's more to come. Even potentially this month, this year, definitely this lifetime. There's more awakening that is going to be happening and that we're going to be undergoing. Yes, in the beginning was the Word. And the Word was what? It was a vibration. Setting everything in motion. And just as it was in the beginning, so it is now. Because who are you again? Oh, you're an extension of the Prime Creator in form. Wow. In the beginning was your word for your life, for your day, for your week, for your family, for your community, for your business. And then the word was made flesh. The particles of life coalesced around these words, these emanations, these vibrations that you put out, and your reality appears before you. Amazing. How powerful you are. How beautiful you are. How incredibly designed you are. You already have the technology, baby. You don't need that cell phone. Anyway, it's temporary, hopefully. Pretty soon we'll be remembering our ability to communicate telepathically, as do our star brothers and sisters. As they say in the old scriptures, if you tell that mountain to go get itself up and hop on into the ocean, it will. That's how powerful you are. There is no order of difficulty in miracles, as the Course in Miracles says. If you believe, though, that's the caveat right there. If you believe it with all your might, all your strength, all your being, that mountain will walk into the ocean for you. If you don't believe, if you've got some junk in the trunk, counter to that belief that that could be possible, now what are you doing? You yourself are slowing it down based on what's in your subconscious mind. But yeah, You can do this. You can create new realities in your life, for your world, for your families, beyond your wildest imagination. That's how badass you are. So what went wrong? Why do we not all know this? Why is this not taught in schools? Why is not the first thing that you're told when you're born and you're honored as a divine co-creator with life? Why? How come? What happened? How did we steer the ship into so many hectic situations on the planet? How did that happen? How did we get this vibrational wedgie? Well, you co-create and manifest, attract and allow this reality, even if you don't know you're doing it. Whether you know you're doing it or not, it's happening. This is not like, God, could you turn off the law for just a minute, please? Because I just want to, goof around. 24/7, baby. And intentional choosing, therefore, is the key. And choosing is the same as asking. And so they say, ask and you shall receive. But for the most part, we've forgotten what asking means. We've forgotten that it's every thought. It's every sentence. It's every part of your imagination. It's every action that you take. This is asking. Vibrational alignment is our asking. So as we become spiritually mature, as we awaken, as we become in control of our mechanism, as we realize that the programming and conditioning that we've received did not guide us correctly to an ability to operate our spaceship in the right way, we become willing to change. We become willing to course correct and make adjustments to our vibration, to our way of being, to our way of thinking, to our way of speaking. Speaking about others, speaking about ourselves. And that should be easy enough, but there's more. There's more to the story about why things got a little funky. Yeah, enter stage right. Compounded momentum and the nature of the law. Compounded momentum. What does that mean? Well, think about having eons of time, ancestral lineages, all the levels of conditioning, which we're going to get into. They're all building on themselves over and over and over eons of time based on what? Thought, thinking, feeling, vibration that we drop into as a little baby, and all of a sudden we're like a part of this new matrix, this new set of thought forms, right? And the problem is, I fought the law, and what happens when you fight the law? When you fight the law that's basically the OS under all of reality, you try to, see if you can do it your way. The law is always going to win. It's not changeable. It's the law won, and the law is one. It's foundational, it's primary, it's basic, it's unchanging. It's literally the operating system underneath which we exist. So our imagination plus our thoughts become thought systems. And remember, all this is creating the out-picturing. These are like slides. Each one of our thoughts is like a slide in the projector of life that our divine energy flows through, therefore out-picturing that reality. So our thought systems become beliefs. And so now the recipe for disaster is when you forget who you are totally and you pick up on stuff that's in the media, in programming, in your ancestral lineage, in your early childhood. This is the recipe for disaster. Just add water, stir, and wait 10,000 years. And now you've got belief systems that we all really believe are true, even though they're just like no more real than a cloud. But we made them real with our beliefs. Another word for belief systems, socially mandated illusion, right? Just think of the money system. What is that? It's just made up stuff. Just made up. Who made it up? Well, I don't know exactly who started it, but we all joined in, and we put a lot of thought in it, a lot of energy in it. We put a lot of thought and energy into it every day, right? To the point where now money, this weird amorphous reality creation, somehow feels like it's between us and the divine. It's like, oh my God, I need money. It's like, oh, I want a beautiful house. I want a beautiful life. I want to go do incredible things for humanity, but I need money. It's like, oh dear, there's this thing, and I've got to somehow either I've got to go through it, I've got to get it, I've got to try it, I've got to go out in the world and try to extract it from everybody, you know, somehow, some way. Do you see how opposite that is from how we work? And what does it do to our vibration? Dampens it, right? It's continually dampening our vibration, our ability to do what? To connect directly to that source within ourselves, around ourselves, and decide and choose what it is that we desire. Go directly to source. Might money be one of the ways source gets it to you? Yeah, could be. Probably will be in the culture as it stands now. However, has anybody have some amazing manifestation happen without money? Anybody? Like 4 people? Okay, yeah. So anyway, it is possible to manifest all kinds of things because how we operate, how do we operate? How do we steer our spaceship? Through our vibration, our thoughts, our imagination, our feelings. This is how we come into harmony with what we desire. Money's just a sidekick, man. So we need to take it out of this role of importance that we've put it in. And that's what they say in the scriptures, is you cannot serve 2 masters, God or mammon. What were they talking about? Well, this mammon, this idea of mammon, this money, you can serve that, which is what has been happening on the planet, right? There's been beings who've created this money thing to create a way of being for themselves, which elevates their stature, causes most of the world's resources to be sequestered unto them. And then, meanwhile, we're just like, what is going on? Something's not right. So we take that money widget out from between us and source, and we remember how to create directly, how to manifest directly, how to leverage the power of our consciousness so that we can manifest those desires personally and collectively that are for us. So with these tangles and knots, we can see why the Buddha was saying life is suffering. Life doesn't have to be suffering. It wasn't originally intended to be suffering. But when you forget who you are and compounded momentum kicks in and your ancestors and all the levels of conditioning come in, all of a sudden now we might have an experience of suffering. So what does that do? That really creates compassion. What's that? It helps you wake up. Yeah, it's like the sledgehammer. It's like, whoa, something's not right here. And then we start to turn within, we start to course correct, we start to love ourselves and heal, and then we can have compassion for others who've been stuck in the same way. But wouldn't it have been great if somebody had told us that if we had gotten the rule book, if we had, right, when we were young? Yeah, but however, not only did those who knew not tell us, they intentionally sequestered the information. The big they. They intentionally hid it. Why? Why would they do that? Power, control, dumbing down. Well, that's an interesting game to play, right? It's like they're playing a game. One of the books that I wrote, I like to call them our wayward siblings, or miscreants. Those who are leveraging the power of the law against others in a really sneaky way to make them be steering, make a whole culture steer in a direction of dumbed downness and like thinking that we're these limited beings, It's like, oh my gosh, what a trip, right? What a trip that has happened, but that has happened to us. And they've been using it against us. They've been using the knowledge against humanity. At some level, they are us, right? Because we are one. So do we hate them? or do we make peace, right? With what's happening and then just take up our mantle? But, what do you think the word programming means in the media? It's like we've been programmed since we were little with a picture of reality and what it's supposed to be like. All this stuff we take as real is a painted illusion directing humanity and steering it into certain boxes. And when you can get people to think in a certain direction, the outcome is certain. Why? Because it's the law. And they know this, albeit a hidden law, esoteric. I mean, on one hand, if you're an advanced species and you've got a group of people on a planet who are still hurting each other. Sometimes you don't want them to know everything, right? You don't want to give a 4-year-old an atomic bomb. So some of the reasons that this stuff was sequestered had to do with that the evolution of the humanity wasn't quite ripe enough. But those who did get a hold of it and kept it and hid it, they weren't necessarily the most awakened spiritual ones. They ended up in a little bit of a greed mode and wanted to utilize it. And so that was done extremely intentionally. I don't know if anybody ever heard of Kevin Trudeau or ever heard his recordings about this, where he was in something called the Brotherhood, and a lot of his tribe mates were people in royalty and other types of secret societies, right? And so he tells a story about how they intentionally teach their people, these things, and they intentionally sequester it from the underlings. That's us. Hello, underlings. I'm going to do things so that you will do my bidding. That's basically, and I'm not going to tell you that I'm doing it. I'm just going to make you think that I'm the more magnificent one. This is where I'm like, okay, who do I punch? Because I'm ready to take somebody out right now. That is just so not right. I mean, it makes for really good, sitcoms and dramatic movies in a really messed up situation on the planet. But, I was a little fussy when I knew for a long time. Reality creation, manifesting, law of attraction has been my passion for years. It's totally foundational. I think it's just the most amazing thing. But then when I really started sinking in that these guys are doing this on purpose, I was like, oh my God. And so what do you do, though? What do you do about it? You just go out and start yelling and screaming and having a fit? What happens to your vibration if you do that? What happens to your vibration if you if you start trying to take revenge on them? That is not enlightened self-interest. So I finally decided if you can't beat them, get your butt out of victim mode and get to work. Learn how this thing actually works. This thing here. Learn how this thing works. Learn how your being works. And now, what happens if all of us do that? But first, we each individually need to get it. Because you are a powerhouse of creative ability. Just imagine when more of us come together. Right? I think that's a pretty good solution. That's my dedication. My job is to help us remember these things. And I'm sure there's probably others in the room who are nodding and going, yes, and this is part of your job too, I'm sure. So, now, the other part of this that's really beautiful is that the divine feminine and masculine can work together in us to help us harmonize, even though all these things have happened, even though we're in this situation. We do have to take responsibility for all the co-creations that have happened on the planet and in our lives, in our families. We must take responsibility, because if we stay in victim mode, what's going to happen? Who are you? That energy of being a victim, okay, great, you want to be a victim? Cool. That's what the law says. It's like, okay, great. Let's do that. But if you don't, if you don't want to, if you want to clean the junk out of your trunk, if you want to clean the subconscious mind of all the programming, then you've got to take responsibility. You're the one who can do that. Nobody else is going to do it for you, even if they put it there. They might have put it there, but you get to clean it, right? So if you take responsibility, but you don't claim your innocence as well, what's going to happen? That sword of truth for that responsibility is like, oh my God, that hurts. You might feel guilty. Again, your vibration is going south. That's not the idea of the divine masculine sword of truth. It's to point at it and be like, this is the truth, for God's sakes. Wake up, guys, right? But then you need the shield of Divine Mother to protect, to be like, oh my God, but I'm originally innocent. I'm loved. I didn't mean to really. I didn't know I was creating this. I didn't know that was happening. I didn't know I was being programmed. You're innocent. So we've got to claim our original primordial innocence as extensions of source and life and light in order to also wield that sword of truth responsibly and to take responsibility for recreating the world in our own image. Yes, take up your sword of truth. Take up your shield of innocence as you embark upon this work. Heal yourself up and get to work, because we got work to do. And it's vibrational work. It's reality creation work. It's imagination work. It's co-creation work. But in the meantime, how do we clean the junk from the trunk and turn the ship around? There's tools. There's tools for this. Okay, we realize we're a God being. We've been massively conditioned in so many ways, it's ridiculous. And now we need to change what's going on in here so that we can change what's going on out there. We don't need to go out in the world and try to hammer it out in 3D and wrestle it to the ground. We got to first go within here. Yes, how do we get back up on the back of our horse and take the reins instead of being dragged behind the horse? If the horse is the law, we want to be on the horse, steering it where we want it to go. And so the divine mother, divine father, source have given me the recalibrations process. And this recalibrations process is a universal process. Many of the healing modalities and reality creation modalities already use one or more of these things. But this is sort of the complete package. Here's what we do. We attune, we align, we dissolve, and we design. We attune with source. We become at one with it. We allow that higher power to come in, whatever we want to call it. We allow that connection to be reestablished firmly. And then we align with our true codes of union within us, with our blueprint, with our divinity. Then we dissolve the conditioning and the barriers and the programming and the faulty thinking in the way. And then we design our way to a new future. We need time, we need energy. Because of the massive amount of conditioning, we need support in holding to that design. We need support in moving forward on that trajectory of our choosing. That's why there's teachers. That's why we're doing workshops. That's why we're doing classes. That's why we're doing energy clearing. That's why we're doing alignments and attunements over time, because the entire race, is reconditioning itself to new possibilities. It takes a little time. It takes a little effort right now. Right? It takes a little effort because there's 4 levels. There's more than 4 levels, but the basic 4 levels of conditioning are your past lives, your ancestral lineage, your early childhood, and your cultural conditioning. Okay? If you think about these, each one of these we could do a whole talk on. Each one of these levels. There's massive amounts of work, and the healing work that a lot of us do and that I do multidimensionally usually bundles it all comes up throughout the work that we do. Because it's all here, it's all within you now, even if it's from the past. But all these different levels of conditioning are operating, creating subconscious beliefs and thought forms that become that template or that slideshow that the light of you is moving through to project it out on the screen of your life. So we've got to get in there and modify these things. How do we do that? Well, there's all kinds of ways. There's energetic clearing with the light, the cosmic lights, the cosmic rays. There's just a whole ton of modalities that I've been trained in since I was younger to help people do that. And how many healers are in the room right now? Yeah, so we got a few here. Raise your hand again real high. Healers? Yeah. So each of these modalities that these healers are using are going to be helping. It doesn't really matter which one you do. Pick one. Pick your flavor. Just do it. Do the work. Right? And get in there and start cleaning. We're cleaning. That's what, with forgiveness in Ho'oponopono, that's cleaning. We're cleansing the database of our body, mind, spirit complex so that now our neural pathways have an easier way to actually go in the direction that we want it to go. Because if you're so conditioned and your brain has got all these little rivulets in it, tending you into a tendency of thought and being, that's harder to get away from. That's why it takes effort. That's why we need practice, because we're actually beginning to soften those old rivulets and create whole new ones that allow us to be successful, in harmony, prosperous, happy, joyful, have an ecology that we desire, have positive commerce, all of these things, right? So the 5 powers that we have are very basic, simple, and you'll find them in all the ancient teachings because people knew this, that we have known this before. We have known this on this planet. Non-attachment, non-resistance, non-judgment, forgiveness, and all of these things springing from a place of unconditional love. This is the teaching. These are the tools. These are our powers that allow us to get through this. And the master key of all of it is gratitude. They say that gratitude, opening our heart to love and appreciation, finding something to be happy and joyful and grateful about in any situation, even if it's challenging, even if it's the most random thing, like, yeah, I'm really grateful that there's a beautiful vase of flowers in the room, Sometimes it might come to that if you can't find anything else in the moment. Find something, latch onto something to be grateful for, and it'll lift your vibration and give you that information and that intelligence and that connection that will help you move up and solve that problem, that challenging situation. And then the three offspring of all of this, the three offspring of this work, this cultivation, this allowing of this true knowledge to come to us is humility and compassion and joy. And that humility is also the tempering of the sword, right? It's also refining and rarefying out of us any remaining arrogance, greed, jealousy, desires to control or manipulate others ourselves, where we picked up the control freak pattern or whatever like that. It's like, wait a second, I'm a creator, so is everyone else. They don't have to be conflicting just because you want this and I want that. If we truly come into vibrational harmony, if we truly choose, choosing means I'm good with whatever anybody else is choosing. I'm choosing this. This is where my ship is steering. I'm going to hold myself to that, and I'm going to watch the results, and they're going to be real. It doesn't mean you don't have compassion for others. It just means that you are holding the high watch for your own vibration. And by doing that, eventually they will come to you and be like, how did you do that? Like, what are you doing? Teach me. So finally, we're getting the rules of the game. There's been many teachers. I mean, in the 20s, now really through all time, we've had teachers like Ernest Holmes and the Unity movement and the whole New Thought movement. We've had Genevieve Berend and Thomas Troward and all these amazing reality creation teachers that led up to people like Catherine Ponder. And now we have Joe Vitale and we have Joe Dispenza and we have Bruce Lipton even drops into this. We've got so many amazing beings who are out here preaching the word of this vibrational alignment. And it's because it's absolutely necessary. It's absolutely time. We need this tool. To face what we're facing and to face what we're going to be hearing about that's going to be shared in this conference this weekend, we got to have our vibrational alignment together. We can know this information, but what is ours to do? Let's steer our ship from here in the direction of our choosing, right? To create a new reality. Yeah, we are one, so let's have fun. Let's have fun with this. Let's have fun with this knowledge, this information, this energy, with playing with it. And let's have compassion for those who are still in suffering, or for ourselves when we're still in suffering, when some really big, gnarly old pattern surfaces and we've got to grapple with it. They're surfacing now, big time. Anybody notice that? Anybody got any patterns coming up lately? Yeah. That's what time it is, because light is coming to the planet. It's opening us up to these new realities. So we're going there. One of my early teachers also said, look, you can go there kicking and screaming, or you can enjoy the ride, because either way, you're going there. We are on our way, kids. So we call it Welcome to Ascension. So we raise our vibration by awakening to the truth of us, so that you can manifest your purpose, steer the ship of your life, be a positive force of love, and attract more goodness into your sphere personally. And then let's get into a little bit of collective vibration, planetary blueprinting, right? If that's true for us individually, isn't that also true for us together? What would happen if we got together and decided how we wanted the world to be? What kind of world we want to live in? Is there anything that can stop us from doing that? Other than what? What's that B word? Belief, right? So back in 2005, I was asking myself, what can I do that will actually help? Not just, I think it's going to help. I want to actually know what could possibly make a difference in these crazy scenarios we've got going on here. So I did a 4-day process of meditation. At the end of that 4 days, the Anchor the Dream experience came through. It's an experience of energetic activism and visionary stewardship, where we learn collectively to access these codes and create anew. It's very fun and playful. It has a theatrical aspect. And I've been doing this workshop around the country since then, since 2005. And I have a vision. I have a vision to actually enlist, enroll, discover the 144 people who want to master Anchor the Dream and learn how to take it out to the world so that we can all be blueprinting new realities for Earth life with the most fun ever just because we can. Yeah. Yeah. It's so crazy. It just might work. You know, I like to say, it ain't over till the volleyball hits the sand, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you just got to dive for it. We just got to get up under that ball, that earth, and, you know, we can do this thing. We can. I know you. I know who you guys are. I got your vibrational signature in my back pocket. You're a badass from Lord knows where. I come here to help save the day, man. But sometimes I think we are like those little squirrels, you know, those crazy squirrels. They run right out in front of your car at the very last second just to see if they can make it across. I'm pretty sure that's what we've been doing. I'm like, why do we have to always wait to the very last second? Really? But we're just like, yeah, whatever, Earth, okay, yeah, we'll just hang around and pretend like we're victims and watch TV and eat potato chips on the couch for a while. And it's, oh yeah, Trump's here. Okay, probably about time to get to work. Okay, yeah, oh, wait a second, I'm a superhero. Let me plug myself in, turn myself on again. Woo, okay, let's go. Where's my people? That's what we're doing. We're finding our people. Get ready for this next phase, right? It's so crazy, it just might work. Yes! Oh, God, I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. And so in support of these things, I do a couple of fun things. One of them is I've started a weekly Sunday satsang, virtual church, reality creation talk, whatever you want to call it. Sunday morning, I was like, Sunday? They're like, yep, Sunday morning. I'm like, okay, we're doing Sunday morning. So I do it live on Zoom, and then the recordings are available on SoundCloud and on my website. So that's just one of those ways to keep us in the pulse. It's my dedication, it's my commitment, to keep us in the pulse of moving forward with this knowledge and this information and this way of being. I've also been gifted with a number of books from Divine Mother, Divine Father, Source, Consciousness, and the Star Elders to help us navigate our way. And these are really potent books, if I don't mind saying so myself. I did have a woman had a dream about these books. She had a dream about these books. I didn't know her, she didn't know me. Her guide woke her up in the middle of the night and said, you need to remember your dream and go find that lady you saw and find her books. And then she found me. She's like, she emailed me, she's like, are you real? I'm like, well, baby, I'm as real as you are, and I'm not sure how real that is. We're all ideas in the mind of God, as you say. So anyway, it was just one of those, whoa, moments. And the guides were showing her that these are very important books, akin to other major spiritual books, whose names I won't mention right now because it's still a little trippy that even happened. So I recommend them. They came through. They're a gift for you. Enjoy. And coming up soon, I'm also going to be doing Manifesting Miracles and Money Mastermind, because we've got to get that money widget out between us and Source. That's my commitment. So you can talk to me about that after. If anybody's needing that kind of mojo, it's going to be an online mastermind. And then I'm also doing vibrational alignment coaching with people using my interdimensional energy healing processes and the recalibrations process. We also get into the life design and manifesting and spiritual healing. So that's me. I'm so happy to be blessed and honored to be up here speaking with you all today. I'm thanking Neil and everyone for welcoming me to the stage. And go forth. We can do this thing. It's so crazy. It just might work. Thank you. Chireya.com is the website, and my email is light@chireya.com. And I will be around this weekend, so feel free to talk to me, and we'll have some fun. I'm looking forward to it.